I have officially discovered the fastest way to get over someone, and I am not going to gatekeep. Go see a medium and show them a picture of your ex or your situationship or the guy that you were in a talking stage with, and let the medium, let the spirits tell you everything that is going on with this person. I just saw a medium literally less than an hour ago, and I was asking him if he could get any sort of energetic feel for the situation that I was just in and the heartbreak that I just endured. And he was like, send over a picture of him to me. So I did. And right away, he looks at the guy and he's like, yeah, he's really insecure. He comes off as though he's confident, but this guy is so insecure. And then he followed up by saying, yeah, this relationship would have been so draining. And I didn't even like agree to any of this. In my head, I was like, yeah, it kind of was really, really draining. And weirdly enough, like, not saying that I'm completely over this person now, but just kind of hearing someone else confirm what I already thought, because I knew in the back of my mind that this person was very insecure just because of the things that he has said to me and the conversations that we've had. It's definitely going to make it a little bit easier to move on, because it's like, who wants to be with an insecure man or woman? But I just thought it was so funny. Like, within seconds, he could just tell from this guy's energy that he is very deeply insecure, which would make sense about a lot of things, actually. The fact that he ghosted me, I mean, tell me you're insecure without telling me you're insecure, and just so many other things added up. And I have had readings with this medium before, so I do trust what he says to me. I know not everyone is gonna have the same experience, or not everyone has had the same experience, but I just had to share because right away a light bulb went off in my head, and I was like, you know what, yeah, I can do better. I can be with someone who is confident in themselves, knows what they want, sticks to their word. So yeah, if you are looking to get over someone.
It's April 2, 2023. And in 6 months' time, I'm going to be someplace better than right now. Everything's gonna work out. This will pass. Ay, you got this. Just don't give up. Todos los días échale ganas. Tú puedes. It's not gonna be like this forever. I know you're tired. This will pass. I have to believe that I will make it. And that's why I'm filming this. So I can look back and see all the hard times, all the shitty times, all the hopeless times, and see myself and tell myself that it gets better. It will get better.
How come no one talks about how crazy it is that people who work 9-to-5 jobs only get one day to actually enjoy themselves every weekend? You're probably thinking, no, they get 2 days, right? Saturday and Sunday? No, you gotta pick one. You only get one of those. Every weekend, one of those is spent either taking care of all the things that you didn't have time to take care of during the week, or it's spent preparing for the week ahead. You have to spend one of those days running all your errands because you do them during the week, but they're only open 9 to 5, when you're working. And when you get off work, they're not open anymore. So you can only do them on the weekend. Then when you get all that done, you got to take care of everything around the house, the laundry, the cleaning, you know what I'm talking about. Then when you get all that done, the weekend's pretty much over and you get to spend a little bit of time doing something enjoyable. But then, oh, look, Monday's here and you got to prepare for the week ahead. And that is life for 40 to 50 years. You do that week in and week out for 40 to 50 years. Oh, and then you get your freedom when you're too old to actually enjoy it. It's just wild to me that I don't hear more people talking about how dumb this is on this platform. I really don't hear it. 40 to 50 years of that, acting like a robot, acting like a zombie, once in a while taking a week vacation and just repetitively doing that every day. Is that how life's supposed to be lived? I don't get it.
This landed on your For You page, it's probably because you've been in the shitter and you want to run away, hide on an island, and have no one else ever find you, and you just don't know what to do next. I'm going to give you 3 tips that changed my entire life, and I learned this all today. As I was venting to one of my good friends, I was just like kind of going off the rails, and he told me to stop, and he said, "Hey, how are you brushing your teeth?" I looked at him and I was like, "What?" And he was like, "No, honestly, how are you brushing your teeth?" And I was like, "I've never thought about this, but like honestly, the past 30 days, I've just like been aggressively like doing it for like quick 2 seconds and then calling it a day because life has just been so crazy." And he was like, "The way you brush your teeth is the way you live your life. The way you brush your teeth is the way you live your life. The way you do things in secret, it will manifest into your day to day. It's a signal to slow down." Changed my life. The second thing that he taught me is this, and I think this is the most powerful. I was venting and saying things like, "I feel so fat. I feel so ugly. I don't feel good enough. I feel like I'm too much, but not enough." Like I just kept going. And he stopped me when I was finished and he was like, "Okay, I want you to say everything that you just told me, but in third person." So AKA I had to go back and say, "Irene isn't good enough. Irene is blank. Irene is blank." And I started bawling. And he said, "Why are you bawling?" And I said, "Because it hurts my feelings to think that someone would say these things about me." And he said, "Exactly. Whenever you have a negative spiral and you're just attacking yourself, stop and say everything in third person and ask yourself, does this make me feel good? Does this feel right? Does this sit well?" Because if it does not, then what you're telling yourself is actually not true. You need to protect what you tell your brain because that becomes your reality. So that's taught me so much to slow down, pause, and reframe my negative thinking. Okay, the last thing that he taught me is this. I was also sharing with him like my big dreams and like all the things that I wanted, and I feel like really annoyed that it hasn't come yet. And he said, "Irene, everything that you're wanting in your life is actually on its way. It just may not happen all at the same time." And I was like, "Wait, what?" And he was like, "You wanting to be married, to have a family, to be loved, and to like experience all these things. It's on its way. It just may not happen all right now or all at the same time. But trust and know that the things that you're calling in will come in due time." Because that's the beauty of life. The beauty of life is that like the more you focus on the beautiful things and the things that you can hope for, do those things come rushing in. It just may not happen all right now, all at the same time. So he was teaching me to view life as glass half full versus glass half empty. So anyways, I hope this is helpful. Good night.
Men are known to leave their wives when their wives get sick, and I just started watching Love is Blind, the new season.
As a woman with MS, I can 100% confirm that this is true. So I have kind of a unique perspective on this because I myself have MS, but I also come from a giant family cluster of MS. So my mother has MS, 4 of her 6 sisters have MS, and there's like 24 cousins on that side of the family, and one by one, all of the women of my generation are getting MS. Now, my grandmother didn't have MS, but she had Parkinson's. So I've been witness to 3 generations of women with chronic illnesses being absolutely abandoned by their husbands. And a lot of times they leave, right? Not right away. They'll stay for about 6 months after the diagnosis and play the hero while everyone's still watching, everyone's praising them for being brave and selfless. And then once the actual work begins, once it becomes unglamorous and hard, they dip out. And they do it in a way that leaves them feeling blameless, right? They pick fights, they start building resentment, they start manufacturing conflicts, they start gaslighting. Essentially, these men will do the things that men do when they want out of a relationship, but they don't want to feel like the bad guy. Or they'll stay and kill their wives through neglect. Now, this is what's happened in my family multiple times. So my grandfather, who is devoutly Catholic, did not leave my grandmother when she got diagnosed with Parkinson's. He did, however, let her starve to death through neglect. A month after she died, he proposed to someone else. I have another aunt who has died from MS, and her husband didn't let her starve, but he also refused to help in any way. So by the end, my aunt was in a wheelchair, she was paraplegic, she essentially died from suffocation. And yet this man refused to do the dishes, refused to do laundry, refused to tidy the house, refused to do any sort of housework in general. And so they lived in this hoarder, squalor, horribly unhygienic environment because he just refused to help out. As soon as she died, he got rid of all of her stuff, anything and everything that was hers or reminded him of her, cleared it out of the house, and he hasn't been seen from since. For all I know, he's remarried. I have another aunt who's in the hospital right now for MS. She needs a walker to get around the house. She cannot use a phone because she doesn't have the dexterity in her fingers. And her husband routinely leaves her for 3 weeks at a time to just go on vacation without her. And he doesn't arrange for her kids to stop by or for like frozen meals or anything. No, he just leaves. I mean, he's not pushing her down the stairs of the house, but these men are essentially trying to usher their wives into the grave through neglect. This is just in my family. And I think one of the most amazing things about TikTok is that we as women are starting to realize that these stories aren't personal. It's not like, oh, that relationship was flawed and it fell apart under stress. No, these are systemic issues. These are patriarchy issues. When men take that vow of in sickness and in health, they only mean their sickness and their health. As soon as their wife gets sick, they're out. And this happens so frequently that hospitals have formal or informal HR modules on how to train nurses and doctors to break the news to women when they get a chronic illness like this, that their husbands are going to leave them. This is not an individual issue. This is an issue with our whole society, our whole culture.
If you aren't already frequenting luxurious locations, you can't just expect that to magically come into your life. Your life now is a perfect microcosm of what the rest of your life is going to look like. And so you have to bask in beauty now. Get in those gorgeous environments. Get in those opulent places that are going to make you rise by osmosis. And this doesn't require money. It just means going to more beautiful places in your city, going to nice parks, going to free museums, getting a $5 coffee in a 5-star hotel in your city. This is how you provide evidence to your subconsciousness that you are successful now, that you are ideal now. It's an identity thing. It's not about grinding. Wu Wei, effortless action. Mind bends reality. Thoughts create your life. And when you place yourself in a gorgeous environment that shifts your internal state, that changes your thoughts and your emotions in an ideal way, man, you're going to become a really powerful, creative being.
Here's a quick workday in life. It was a rainy, gloomy Monday, so getting out of bed was extra hard. Usually I'm work from home, but today I needed to do our annual physical exam for work, so I did skincare, makeup, and got ready by 9:30. Brought my laptop, charger, iPad, and Apple Pencil, SSD, wallets, forms, and my house and car keys. I dumped them all in this big hobo bag, and I just wanted to wear something cozy and lazy for today's rainy weather. I was in a rush, so I quickly ate pancit canton before driving in this freaking crazy weather. Guys, it was raining so hard. Oh my god. It was my first time driving in this kind of weather, but luckily the clinic's just near, so it took me like 30 minutes to get there, park, and start the test. And while waiting, I'd sneak in time to read a few chapters of Blue Sisters by Coco Mellors. 5 out of 5 stars, by the way, but the overall thing just took me like 2 hours, so during lunchtime, I went to the grocery to buy a few snacks for my upcoming hike trip, which, spoiler alert, was supposed to be today actually, but it got moved because of the weather. Then I just stayed in a cafe for a bit to catch up on some work and messages, but to be honest, the load's super light today. So while waiting for my next task, I did edit a thumbnail for the vlog that I'm actually posting today as we speak. I wanted to save some money, so I actually only ordered my favorite coffee cubes here in UCC, then ate a takeout from McDo, which is a cheeseburger. So I got home by 2:30, greeted our dogs first, then went straight back to work. Had one meeting, and then to lessen my load, I front-loaded some stuff that's supposedly still due tomorrow. I just addressed some minor poster revisions from our client. Then honestly, I ended the work day super early, so I ate a snack, and then by 6:30, I did a 30-minute ab workout. And I like to alternate between this and running after work so I can de-stress and move my body after working from home. And yeah, that was it. Thanks for coming. Comment if you want more of these vlogs.
Avoid people who complain about money at all costs. Many of us have grown up around family members and friends who had a scarcity mindset and was always worried about money. And rightfully so, it can be stressful. But the problem is that rubs off on you, giving you that same mindset. And many of us have to break generational curses. And you do this by affirmation and reprogramming the way that you view money. The first thing to realize is that there is no lack of abundance and that everything that you need in life, especially financially, is around you at all times. Think about how much money people spend at restaurants, at bars, on consumer products, and it's flowing around you every single part of the day. The key is to figure out, how do I get it? How do I keep it? And how do I replicate it? And this first starts with having that abundance mindset to know that if you add value to the marketplace, it'll pay you back for that value.
What's it like to be 85?
You know, it's not that different. I was saying, I'm 85. I don't feel any different from when I was 16. I still think about boys and I still hate my hair. You know, that.
One of the best things I ever did for myself is learn how to pull my energy back.
I learned this lesson way too late in life and I learned it the hard way, and I don't want the same for you. So I'm going to tell you exactly how to do it using your human design. All you need is your birth date, exact time, and location. Next, you're going to take that info. You can Google human design or you can use my website. It's free. It doesn't matter. But as soon as you find a site that offers a human design chart, you're going to put in your birth date, exact time, and location, and this crazy looking map thing is going to come up for you. But the cool thing about this is it has a very specific strategy on how to pull your energy back. I learned about human design about 6 years ago. I've been doing it ever since, and it works like literal magic. I was able to remove all the toxic people from my life, started a small business, and grew it exponentially within 2 years, which is quite uncommon. And I'm literally healthier and fitter than I've ever been in my entire life at age 40. So when you look up your human design chart, you're going to see that there are 5 different types for option. You're going to fall into one of these 5 categories. The categories are generator, manifesting generator, projector, manifestor, or reflector. And each one of these categories has a very specific strategy for managing that aura and that energy, and in essence, pulling all of your energy back to yourself. Each one also gives you this compass for knowing whether you're doing it correctly or not. It's called your signature and not self theme. Don't sleep on this system. It could literally change everything for you quite quickly. And if you decide to use my website to do this, each one of the chart properties is linked to a free video explanation. It's absolutely free. It's a free on-demand mini reading. So if you wanted to go a little bit deeper than how to manage your energy and your aura, and you also wanted to learn how to make correct decisions, learn about your digestion, your environment, and all kinds of cool shit, that's on my website. And again, free video explanations are there. If you want to go even deeper and learn how to really practice this, I have something called a personalized report. It's in the $20 range. Most personalized reports you'll find in this industry, because it's very complex, are in the $50 to $100 range. But I really wanted you to be able to have these tools of strategy and authority so that you can pull your energy back, feel very empowered, and make decisions that are aligned with your highest expression of yourself.
Stop caring about your job. Show up and don't slack off, but try to separate your identity and emotions from work as much as possible. That's way easier said than done, but if you start working on it now, your career and mental health will be far better off. It's especially hard if you have ornery or passive-aggressive coworkers. But remember, they're losers who care too much about work. Pretty much every job I actually cared about laid me off or took advantage of my enthusiasm. I don't need to leave a legacy at the company. I don't need to put creative energy into tasks at work. I wouldn't be doing this at all if I wasn't getting paid. Within a year, almost everyone at your job will completely forget you. Go above and beyond if you want, but make sure you're doing it for yourself and your career and not your job and your employer. Find literally any hobby so you don't tie your identity to work. Start watching anime, join a hip-hop dance class, or do what every restless soul in corporate America does and start playing pickleball. Obviously, I still get pissed off at work, but I meditate, exercise, and do my best to not think about projects outside of working hours. After working on this for about a year, I finally got my first meaningful raise and promotion in 10 years of working. Remember, you are not your job. Now go out there and keep it cool.
I don't expect him to complete me. And I don't think he expects me to complete him. Like, he's his own person, I'm my own person, and we choose to be together because we believe we make each other better, and this union is something that we both want to participate in. We actually have a tattoo, and the idea is that individually we're whole, but together we're more. And so, thanks.
You just celebrated 11 years?
11 years married, 15 years together.
15 years together.
And you know what?
Okay, number one, that pair of boots you're thinking of buying, do it. Fucking do it. Do it. And, with your bangs, get a curler, flip it upwards, spray it, you're good. You're good. Another thing, white eyeliner under the eyes, perfect. You're there. If you want to go that far, a little pop of a matching colour, we're slaying. I'm sorry. I think I'm hot. We got there in the end, but we finally arrived at our destination. I think I've grown up.
What if I told you that 2025 was our year to thrive and I had everything you need to make next year your biggest year yet? Welcome to episode 2 of the New Year Prep series, where I'm sharing everything I'm doing to prepare and organize myself to make 2025 my best year yet. In today's episode, we're going to set our 2025 goals together. And I'm going to have to whip out my whiteboard for this one because I'm sharing with you a formula that I have been using for years. It has been trialed, it has been tested, and it works every single time. First, you need to choose a focus area that you want to set some goals in. Finances, health, fitness, business, career, whatever it is, choose where you want to thrive most in 2025. Next, you're going to want to set 1 to 3 goals in any or all of these focus areas. The key to goal setting is to get so incredibly crystal clear on what it is you're working towards. So instead of saying something like, I want to save more money in 2025, you could say, I want to save $5,000 by March 2025. You've set a specific, and you've also assigned a deadline or a time frame. This is going to help you build your action plan. This is how I like to set out my goals for every single goal I set. Obviously, we write the goal down. Then we consider this goal is important to me because, and this is actually going to make up part of your why. This is going to act as your motivator and your reason to keep chipping away at this goal over time. Then we need to ask ourselves, does this goal require something different from us? And then last, but certainly not least, write down all the steps you need to take in order to obtain this goal over time. I will see you in episode 3.
On a refrigerator and her mirrors, and every day 100 times she'd say, I'm marrying a rich man, I'm marrying a rich man, I'm marrying a rich man. And sure as hell, a year later, she was getting married. The guy was not wealthy, but his name was Rich.
Oh, hell no.
This is a true story. So be careful what you ask for. You got to be really specific in your affirmations. So that's just a cautionary tale to be careful with your affirmations.
The most spiritual thing you can do in this lifetime is get rich as fuck. Every single person on this planet is born with some unique talent or deeper purpose. And it's our jobs to uncover what exactly that is and bring that out into the world to be of service to humanity. In my opinion, entrepreneurship is the ultimate fast track because the level of faith that you have to cultivate before you have any evidence that it's going to work is unlike any other journey. In the beginning, it literally feels like you're talking to yourself. There's usually no team in the beginning, it's just you with you. And you're usually investing every single penny not knowing when you're gonna see the ROI. Now that is true faith in action, and nothing will cultivate persistence or resiliency faster than that. On top of that, it will activate every single insecurity that you're holding so that you can move beyond it and become the person that you came here to be. And evolution is the very purpose of our existence. So if you want to go on the most spiritual ride of your life, unlock your true purpose and relentlessly be in pursuit of exploiting it to the world.
There's a book that my therapist had suggested to me that I'm listening to on Audible, and it's called The Gap and the Gain. But it's basically how we measure ourselves against what we don't have versus how far we've come. So living in the gap is basically saying, well, I don't have this yet, but living in the gain is saying, well, look how far I've come and look at what I've achieved. And I very much live in the gap presently where I'm like, oh, but I have this much to do, rather than thinking, oh, but I've done so much in my life and I've achieved so much that I'm so proud of. I don't sit in that moment and be present and happy with that. I go, no, we need to do that. And I'm measuring my own success against what I don't have, which is, creating a sense of lack. And to live in a sense of lack in a time where I feel incredibly, privileged to do what I do and to have the things that I have. It's just a moment of like me knocking on my own head saying, let's stop with the comparison against the other people in my own field and things like that. And be thankful for what, when I was 12, I never in my life thought that I would actually be a working actor and have the opportunities that I have and create a brand and get to talk and meet with all these people. Like, I just didn't think that was possible, but I'm living that idea that I didn't think was possible when I was 12. So remembering that rather than thinking, oh, but I have so much further to go is the goal.
If you want to rebrand your life, a life rebrand in 2025, here's a concept that you're going to have to come to terms with being comfortable with. To rebrand your life requires two types of work: internal and external. The internal work looks like things you would do by journaling, meditation, therapy, right? And we're talking about self-worth, deservingness, self-trust, self-confidence, self-awareness, all the selves, right? If it's self, it is internal. The only really self that crosses the line to external is self-expression and self-actualization. Because you can do all of the internal healing in the world, but if you don't externalize or change how you are in the world, your life doesn't ultimately end up changing. And the concept that you need to get comfortable with is the fact that you will never become unafraid of being seen without practicing being seen. Let's work backwards. To change your life, you need to change your behaviors, which means eliminating old habits and building new ones, simultaneously doing the internal and external work at the same time, healing, and then building a life in a world that reflects that new inner life. Do you want to rebrand your fucking life in 2025? I'm Justin Schumann, humans in my name. Let's go for it.